Hello everyone, welcome to this channel. I am Lily and in this video I'm going to do a request. We are going to play hardcore in Malta. Buckle up, let's get started. Right, so in order to get to Malta we need to start on mainland Sicily, and from there we need to take the boat. Yeah, we have to take the boat. And the guy who wanted me to do this, he said go on the northern side of the river. So this is fairly much north, isn't it? Let's see what it looks like. It looks a bit interesting though, because the river is not actually connected to the ocean. There is a distance between the end of the river and the start of the ocean, and that is not quite as it should be. So I'm going to report that to the devs so they can make the connection. Also, I must admit I quite like it like this, because that means we will have in the middle we can occupy ourselves, then to the left we have the ocean, and to the right we will have a river. I mean, that is quite good. I'm actually not sure I'm going to report this now. Anyway, so I'm not expecting it to be as hard as Region 1 North, but you know, it can be hard enough down here with the heat. And we are going to be visited, or we should be visited fairly much more than you would otherwise be in Region 2, which is much more temperate. So there won't be too much grey slack, and there won't be too much of the droughts. I can never say it right. Droughts. Someone please help me. The droughts. Yeah, but in the south and the north, you won't have drought in the north so much. You will have it too cold. So it will be fewer of the grass types people need. The animals need to eat that will survive. So yeah, let's have a look. It's a lot of forest. Oh yeah, and I see we have a lot of the firs, because it's you know, 9 kbc. There it is. Yeah, look, it's ending right there, and then we have the ocean there. I quite like this. Yeah, this is interesting. So I'm going to plunk myself down here, and yeah, let me see. Idle people, yeah, nobody is working, so that goes without saying. Let's get the detachable window, and it is hardcore, and it is with animal incursion or raids on. So I'm going to start immediately to hunt animals. They should not, even though it's hardcore, you shouldn't be overwhelmed with the bigger ones, because you have no way of protecting yourself. When you start, you are completely open to be completely ravaged. But I'm going to do the crafters. I'm going to put them to work immediately. And as you can see, we have wooden spears, simply because a guy suggested it, and I thought that was a good idea, and the devs thought it was a good idea as well. The guy who suggested it, oh gosh, now I can't remember his name. My memory is absolutely horrendous. But he was giving a few suggestions of things that could help, and certainly this is a good suggestion. So yeah, we got wooden spears at start to help new players, especially with defending off the rats, or yeah, mostly rats will be coming, and the odd other animals passing through, because we might have settled right on a path where animals normally go. We don't know that. We will find out. So yeah, let's do some of the things we need for crafting stuff. Don't need to worry too much about housing at the moment. We are going to do a fireplace for sure. Yeah, so I'm not doing slow because it's going to take ages, but I'm doing normal. So that means there are going to be 2 sleeps per month instead of 3, which is slow. But yeah, this is the first time I've tried Malta since the European map was expanded. And I see it hasn't changed with regards to that you must start on the mainland Sicily. Or isn't that what it's called? I think it's Sicily. And then go down via boat to reach Malta. You can't just click it from the global map. You need to first land in Sicily, and then you need to take the boat down. I quite like that though, but it is on the extreme edge of south. So yeah, I could have my ass handed to me. We will see. We shall see. Let's not be negative. We can do this. We can do this. Look at all the reed. What the heck? You don't have that in Region 1 North, or South for that matter. Not even in Region 2 North. Well, yeah, you do a bit. Look at all the stones. That is too much. Too much stones. I think the guy who said that he was lacking the boulders meant the boulders, not the stones you could do nothing about. Like boulders are like a landmark and really beautiful. Let's go. The thing is, we're losing the majority of the day because we have to take the boat. So everyone has to sleep out in the open, which is fine. Let's see. I'm not going to talk too much because whoever watches hardcore doesn't really need my guidance as such. I don't expect too much of the food types to be available yet, at least not down here. But there should be some. Yeah, we have a few boars. Oh, migrants already. Well, we are 100% happy because we've only been here one sleep. So... And you had nothing. Yeah, so you start with the rudimentary skills in 10K BC, no matter where you are. And then you, based on where you are, you learn faster or you learn slower. Or a timeline allows you to learn faster or slower. Like fairly far down here, you should not be too far off the more eastern parts of Europe, east and southern. So you should be able to learn pretty fast. This is nice. I like this. But yeah, we're going to come back to exactly this place. We're going to stay here all the time. We just need to migrate if we lack food. Or I could try to never migrate. That is also possible. But what I don't like about it is that it can take years for locality to catch up with your population change. So if you have 5 people 1 year, 5, if you have, say 10, so you have 10 people 1 year, and then you get 12 because you get 4 births and 6 migrants, then it can take over a year before that is updated. So then the locality does not have the means for those people, so you need to be careful how you harvest. It is not that strict though. Normally you can easily survive, because what is common is that you have a lot more food in locality than you have workforce to actually harvest. Especially if you divide your workforce. If you focus your entire workforce on only one thing, yeah, then you can come close to the depletion per season. But normally you will always have some left. Unfortunately, what you have left is the things that we don't really want, like roots and pine nuts and stuff that people don't like. So we had the first visitor, a rat, going straight for our honey. We have honey in 10K BC down here. This is fantastic. You won't see that up in northern Norway, I'll tell you that for free. Or anything else. So we don't have wild boars either up there. We have the odd hare, and that's it really. Yeah. So let's see how this goes. I don't really expect to have a lot of different food types, but I do expect to have a higher amount of the types that we do have, because that is quite common with the warmer areas. Let's just get down the storages and get them gathered into one, because then you know exactly where they come to take your things, animals, until you get your fences up. But since it's been calmed down so much and you don't see the bigger ones until you actually have a drought or very low moisture or grey slack, I mean, then you will see more of the bigger ones. But there is a certain temperature where the bigger animals become fewer. Like the aurochs won't be a ton, the horses won't be a ton, and there certainly won't be a ton of deer, because first of all we are only 7 population, or thereabouts. Yeah, we're 7, and then you also won't have due to this, you won't have so many animals, maybe 4, 6, 8, depending on the species. But of course, the highest amount you will have of animals, unfortunately, are those who are quick reproducers, hares and rats. Yeah. So they have increased the fertility of the bigger animals. So it's not like you won't get any calves or any kids from the bigger ones. But you know, the method that we used to do previously was that we often did not hunt the big animals. We just took the vermin that came and stole your food in camp anyway, like wild dogs and wild boars. And, you know, they used to do that all the time. They've done that since we started the game. So we used to leave all the animals that weren't bothering us alone so that they had their circle of life. So they lived on their own. They lived in peace from us. And then when they died, then we had our tribe go out and, you know, strip them. So it wasn't a loss. We didn't lose anything. We just got it naturally, you know, without hunting. So I know a lot of people are not fond of necessarily hunting in game. So there are options. They can get what they need from the animal without killing it. Just let it live out its life and die peacefully on its own of old age. So instead of rotting in the ground, on the ground, because they don't get buried, instead of rotting on the ground, humans are almost said making them live forever. They're taking them home and doing useful things with them. So yeah, that is totally acceptable for a lot of people, which is totally fine. We're all different. So what I'm going to aim for is, first of all, to clear this area as much as I can. You can't chop the trees yet, but this is where we're going to stay for a while. When all the animals are gone, I'm not counting hares and rats. You can't live off those. They are just small snacks every now and then. But when the bigger animals that bring more than 10 meat home per day are gone, then we are going to move on, because there is no way that there's enough of the plant life here at this time to sustain us as we are growing. So we're just gonna migrate after the animals. That's basically what we're doing. Let me see, did I get everything? I think I did. Yeah, because we have quite a few options. No, not all of them are here though, but if we get them while we're here. So we need sticks. So I've done a lot of sticks with the clear tool. No point doing any chopping because we don't have access. So access, for those who doesn't know, they used to have a crop option, but more often than not, it was the gatherers who stole the access, so the choppers couldn't do anything. Because if you are asking for choppers to log, they need an axe. Or you could do it without axe, which is what we're doing now, is that we're asking the gatherers to collect the logs. So that is an option that you can do as well. You don't need an axe to start with, because you will only chop logs for your benches and some of your storages, and also for your fireplace, because the fireplace is fueled, at least the big one, is fueled with logs. So that is sorted. Okay, so we have a fireplace. Let's see. We don't have a lot, do we? My torch, but that's it. Yeah. Well, it is 10 kbc, so we shouldn't expect more. The thing is, there is a ton lacking in game. Of course, there's a ton lacking. There was countless things that we don't have per region, per culture, and there were so many cultures in Europe. There were so many. We have but a tiny fraction, so of course we need so much more. And I am aware of this, but you know, I can't keep on harping on about it to the devs, because they are as aware as we others are. We know we lack a million things. We know, they know, we all know. There's nothing to discuss. I mean, I love suggestions, because there are still suggestions that are fresh, that are new, that offers new things that I haven't heard before. Normally, if I want to figure things out, I need to go do research, because I don't have all this information in my head. Not even a fraction of it. You mean, I'm a complete noob. So whatever I need to learn, I go and research, and then I get the information. I know there are a lot of players, and probably some of you as well, who have a lot of insight into not only the European cultures, but also other cultures. And I really hope that when we are done with the Ice Age DLC, when we're done with the Predators, which is coming soon, hang tight guys, and also the Metal Ages, then we do not focus on going further cultures. We focus on filling the cultures that we already have. And I think that the Metal Ages are really important, because Metal Ages, in my opinion, was an age of a lot of things. And you know, also is because we have so much surviving from the Metal Ages, because it was, Metal Ages, and much less time had passed, so not everything had wasted away or decayed away. So all of this, human history, it's packed with items. But the thing is, we have no way of adding things because they are so busy. They never rest. Neither do I really, but then again, I have other jobs as well that I do. But yeah, I think that in the end, people who are patient and do not expect Rome to be built in 1 day or 5 years for that matter, which is the case in this game, you will see a really good and filling game as we are adding more and more stuff. And that is what the devs want. They want to continue adding stuff as long as they can. They are working without salary now, and they have for years. So I don't think a lot of players is aware that everything the devs do, they do for free for the community. Same as me, I work for free. I've never asked for a salary. I have been offered, but I said I don't need it, because I don't. Because I don't do this because I need money. Otherwise, I wouldn't be doing it. If I needed the money, then I would ask for salary, but I don't. So yeah, I do it because I really, really see the potential in the game and I want it to be good. That doesn't mean that I'm satisfied with everything. Even though I love the game, I'm not satisfied with everything. But guess what? Neither are the devs. We are, brainstorming on a regular basis to figure stuff out. And programming is a slow flipping process. I mean, testing is so much quicker in comparison because I just test the results. I don't have to do all the typing and all the maths and all the thingies. I don't even know what they are, But there you go. Oh, look, more migrants. I am so on auto, even though it's hardcore, because it's fairly easy down here. Can you see we have plenty food, and since we are by the ocean and in an ocean that has been warmer for much longer than the oceans up in the northern Norway has been, we have more fish. We will have less raw stones, but we'll have more fish. We will have more sea life. And I want crabs, I want lobsters, I want whales and seals and all these things, and I just hope they will come with boats, with fishing nets, with everything. But we are going to get animal traps. They are coming with predators, so hang tight. We are getting traps. I just hope we can also use the traps to actually catch animals that we have for food, because you don't really go after a bear for food, you don't really do that. And it's just, I'm not sure what they did back in the day. If they did, they probably did, but it's weird for us today, just like it is to hunt wild dogs. We don't want to hunt wild dogs. We want to tame them and cuddle them and have them around us. I have seen documentaries about tribes in Africa that has hyenas as hunting companions. They feed them. Oh shoot, I just saw a rat. Did you see that? A rat was running through my camp, boom, like a bat out of hell. I've seen them feed the hyenas to have them become lenient towards them and come with them, and wild dogs are following them to help them out. It's a symbiotic relationship between nature and human, and this is something I feel that we Westerners in the rest of the world have completely lost touch with. When I grew up, I was forced. I didn't want to. I was forced up until I was 15 to participate in survival training up in northern Norway. We were basically left on the savannah, almost. What's it called in Vidda? I'm not sure what it's called in English. The up there, the tundras, for 6 weeks during summer. We had to fish and hunt and do things to survive on our own. And of course we did. We had no choice. So, but I still feel that we have lost so much touch with nature, But when I see these tribes, let's get a few of these as well. Better. I like to harvest, to hoard the fine raw stones on hardcore, because there's so few of them. I want to start with thousands when we finally settle to the Neolithic, but yeah, that's not going to happen. Unless I migrate once a year, then maybe. Anyway, so I think it's fascinating to watch how some tribes who are by far behind us in technology are still so far ahead of us when it comes to insight into nature, to be one with nature. And I find that so fascinating. It is a lost art for so many of us. We are so spoiled, you know, we are so spoiled with everything we have. What I would like to see first of all when predators come is that they have correct animal behavior, because this is something I have kind of been uneasy with, that the animal rage, although a lot of my demands or suggestions have been done and met, I still feel that there are things that should not happen, and I've told the devs recently as well, I don't want to see deers walk straight over our houses. Nobody does that. I can't make sense of it. It doesn't fit right in my head. So I'm still protesting that a little bit, and I think they might give in. I've asked them to at least consider removing that stupid event when we have predators. You know, when we get the brown bears, because of course we have brown bears. Well, he has already shown my screenshots of brown bears attacking villagers. When we get the brown bears, they might do it to get into humans in the tents to try to eat them. You know, that's a bit different, isn't it? But you won't see a deer do it. You never see a deer do it. It's not logic. So I see a lot of players have issues with this and they get really upset, and I try to say, we need some artistic freedom. Please allow us artistic freedom. And besides, things did happen. It is within the realm of what could possibly happen if a stampede is happening, for example. Then they will run over anything. But this has been taken by the game a bit too far, so it's no longer logic. And I see their point. That's not the problem. What I always seem to struggle the most with, it's not that people have an issue, it's how they choose to present it. I think I've talked about this before as well. I struggle so much with how people present their views. It's always so hostile. It's always going for the throat immediately. And I get so defensive myself. So I think I need to stop replying to these people, because they get so angry in return and start to become really rude. So it's a bit of a pitfall, to be honest. Like, I feel tempted to answer, but if I do, I get so slaughtered afterwards, and they go for you and your culture instead of what you said. It's really weird. Today I was accused of gaslighting. Really? Yeah, anyway, end of discussion. We can't go on like this. It's just a little bit too far out to continue. So what you see here is that we have both the pelt hut and the fireplace, and so far with the changes that the devs have done to how people react to the gradual need for better housing, we are doing a good rotation. People are still okay with sleeping by the fireplace, and also some days rotating into the pelt hut, because pelt huts should still have less bad grades. Okay, let's get up some skills here. You can see we have a sliver of grade that we can still learn in weaponsmithing, toolsmithing. So I'm going to let them just go wild. Yeah, it's only one guy as well. It's not like we're going to overproduce from here to Kingdom Come. We're not going to waste a lot of resources because we have so much of the sticks. So if my gosh, if you run out of sticks, then you have a bug in your game, no doubt about it. Or you're using a mod that is messing up something in the game. That goes without saying. So yeah. Yeah, so we should ideally also start to work harder on getting more skills, because at the moment we have 3 skills in the tribe. This is what you start with as a default, because they've changed quite a bit when it comes to what you start with in 10k BC. So with the new types of knowledges, I mean the new type of seeing knowledges and how you work on your knowledges is still not done. There will be more, because the devs wishes to create a sort of apprentice system. It is now in testing, but it has a few bad consequences. Like, what I didn't like and also warned a bit about was that those who are apprentices, they do a very poor job. Unfortunately, if you put many to do apprentice jobs, you will have such a poor outcome of your workforce that your tribe will suffer. And I tested it with a large tribe, and I saw it specifically in a large tribe, because what I did to test was, I initially had a tribe where I trained 6 hunters, and I trained them for 4 years. Then I migrated with 50 people, 6 hunters, and then I let the entire tribe become hunters. And the only ones that came home with anything per day were the 6 hunters. The others were running around like headless chicken because they had 0 skills. So this is something that the devs is aware of. Of course, I reported it. So now this needs to be tweaked because we can't have it like this. I already warned that this would happen because we cannot waste the workforce, because the balance in the game is not that great at the moment. And I've also said to the devs I'm going to jot down some more recommendations and a few demands, to be honest, because I'm really tired of seeing the poor balance in the very large tribes. It's so prevalent that I'm shocked that I'm one of very few who has said anything about it. So that's going to get done, because I want people to enjoy the game instead of just being frustrated. Even on hardcore, even though you're now supposed to, move on to hardcore when you feel a bit bored with normal, you want a bit more challenge. You're supposed to manage hardcore. You're not supposed to become frustrated and have to give up. I never give up, because I will demand that what is impossible becomes possible. And that's kind of my thing. So yeah. Let's see. Look, we have so much food here. Look, we still have animals as well. When I start up in Northern Norway, we don't even have sticks. We have nothing. But then that's a bit over the top, isn't it? Because when you start that late, that early, I said, and that high up, you won't have anything. Nobody was there in 10 kbc. Yeah, at least he has fishing. Did you see? You kind of have like a pier or something. I think they used the raft they sailed on to make a pier. You can see it in the global map. Yeah, more knowledge. Yeah. So you can see that you can do both hunting and fishing 100% from start. So there's no limit there. So your tribe can just continue to learn and learn and learn. And this is the thing. Don't stop learning just because you can't see it on the knowledge. Just keep practicing, keep making tasks. It is going to be changed, and it is going to be much easier to get knowledges and keep them up. Because this is something we have been discussing for, well, basically since knowledge came, that I feel that it's too hard to build from 75% to 100% and keep it. Because if you are a very busy tribe and you have your entire workforce working, including your children and your elders, the elders tend to not want to give up any of their spots to the younger ones to learn. And that can be really frustrating, because then when the elders die, they can literally die on the same day they have worked. Then we might lose that knowledge because they didn't let the younger ones go. So we have to lower work age and lose workforce by doing so. And I don't like that. Because if they allow us to have 512 population, it should be possible to have 512 population and also do well. Yeah, especially in beginners and normal. So yeah, so that is something we are discussing among a ton of other things. But luckily, all the research and everything for predators are done. The only thing we are lacking, I think I've said this before, the only thing we are lacking to do is to get implemented the behavior versus humans and humans versus predators. That is the only thing we lack, because we have everything else for all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 predators. We have 5 predators at the moment. Only one of them is an obligate carnivore. So this carnivore will only eat meat and fish. And honey. It might eat honey because it's an animal produce. They cannot process or live off vegetation because it doesn't give what they need. They will eventually die if they have to live a vegetarian diet. This goes for all these species in the entire world, also those that we have in our homes. So now you guys know what I'm talking about, but I have said nothing. I have said nothing. Right, so also what I'm so looking forward to is to complete the research we are doing now, or I am doing at least, on Ice Age pre-10 kbc, because we're going to have mammoths, or the type of mammoths we had back then. We're going to have the types of saber-tooth tigers we used to have back then, more cats than tigers, to be honest. And I'm not sure. Woolly rhinos for sure was in mainland England, because there's evidence of them everywhere. But we need to also do the more exotic animals, and yeah, it's going to be a lot of new animals and a lot of new things. Oh, it's going to be so much. The thing is, oh, more migrants. The thing is that I always think about is already now when people who have a normal computer is struggling with the performance, how is it going to be when we add so much more? I really wish that they would change things so that it is not only me sitting around with 80 frames, you know. Oh, I need one more now, just to make sure nobody sleeps in the open, because that is definitely a reason to leave on hardcore after like 8 to 12 sleeps, depending on their grades. If they are whiners and moaners and weak butts, yeah, then it could easily be them leaving. Look, can you see the pier? So yeah, now we are processing. We have food processing that we are skilling. We have leather working that we are skilling, but it's not much, so it's going to take time. That's it, I think. Yeah, hunting, toolsmithing. We have woodworking. Yeah. So this is what we need at the moment. So we don't need to stress, oh, for heaven's sakes, all the trees. So we don't have to stress about doing more now. Oh, look at all the meat. There's so much meat. We are wasting food. There's no doubt about it. And this is such a taboo in hardcore. I need to put some flipping limits on here, seriously. And the number 22 comes from that 22 goes on the dryer. That's the only reason. There's nothing more mysterious about it. Oh, a wild dog. Yeah, I can understand why a wild dog is coming for our meat. It's going to be stinking out the entire area. I'm just shocked not more are coming. On testing server, we would have wolves as well, and other animals that are meat eaters, bears, and God knows what else we have. We have several types. So yeah, that's going to be interesting when the predators come. Yeah, I've already said, and I think devs have said it well as well. But if they haven't, then it stays with me. Yeah, it stays here in this video. There will be traps and watchtowers and guard groups. People will be guarding. Yeah, guard groups. And the devs also want to include taming of wild dogs, taming of I'm not sure they wanted it to be a wolves or just the wild dogs, because wild dogs are closer to us than the wolves. It's like, well, wild dogs is in the middle between wolves and us, something like that. I haven't really done all the research there, so I'm not gonna swear on my life. And they want the wild dogs to be tameable, and then to follow us when we do hunting, and also keep guard at night to warn us when predators are too close. And they're also going to introduce, I think they might do that before predators as well, that fire will deter animals, which is quite normal, quite logic. And also that you don't necessarily need to have wooden spears to scare off animals. So I'm not sure when they're going to do that, because that probably asks for some coding that they don't have time for at the moment. But yeah, I know it will be done, because the devs have already said they're going to do it in one form or another, whatever they choose to do, whether it is sound or the screaming, or you know, the waving of arms, or whatever they're doing to scare off some animals. I am unsure. I also haven't been asked to help out with the research, but it's quite clear, isn't it? The same goes for today. Even if you make a lot of noises to a bear, it might stop, you know. So a lot of it is logic. Belongs to real life. So yeah, so look at that, all the food. Look at all the food. Diana. So hardcore has become harder, not necessarily because of animal rage. It has become a little bit easier in that sense, because you can get more animals, and they will also immigrate to your locality just to pester you. So just be aware of that. They will come pester you from other flipping regions. And that normally is if you have enough hunters and enough wooden spears and tools and weapons, you can have a proper feast when they kill these animals. Because if they are lingering there at night or staying too close to camp, of course the hunter system will target them immediately when morning comes and work hours start. So in that sense, it's not harder. But the way it used to be, it was flipping godlike up in northern Norway, because you had everything coming for you all the time. All the flipping time. You didn't have a single night on your own. I had to migrate my 400 400,000, okay, my 400,000, yes, that's exactly what I want to say. My 400 population tribe, because they ruined over 2,000 cells in one night, because 16 deer came at once and trampled all over my fields. So I knew, okay, there's no way I can survive this, because all the food I have, 36 maxed out farm, is needed. Every single one of these produce cells are needed. So I knew I wouldn't survive, because the locality doesn't have any food. It has the odd hazel tree, and that's it really. So yeah, oh dear me. So what Patreon has now that public does not have is the biome. The biome in Patreon is a lot different, because you have several more types of food from trees. You have several more types of trees. You have several more types of plants overall. And you have also several other small changes done to make game feel better. So they are quite a few months ahead of public. But then again, they've had the Animal Rage for, I think it's 3 months. And now Animal Rage is public. The thing is, we had fairly little feedback from the patrons. So it was just me really who was saying that the Animal Rage was too much and needed to be calmed down quite a bit. So when it was released to public, there was quite a few people who was very unhappy with it, just like me. So then, of course, yeah, it got changed to what had been suggested quite a few months since it came, from when it came. So you see what I did with the storages. This is just an example of how you can do things, because a lot of other players start with the fencing first, you know. So depending on where you are, and you know, probably difficulty as well, beginners have more animals, there's no doubt about it. I already have said that. It's also random, so you could have several months where you never get any animals, and then you could have one tribe who is haunted by rats like 4 times a week. But that's going to be it really. You know, it's not like you're going to have aurochs trampling on your pelt huts. I hate when they do that. That is so frustrating, by the way. If a deer comes and just goes straight through your fences, which I also hate, and then straight over your pelt huts, it has no sense in my opinion. But I understand it's added for gameplay, for you know, to keep player occupied, blah blah blah. Look at all the reed. Oh my god, there's so much reed. Very pretty though, isn't it? Such a beautiful place. The thing is, it will probably almost look like this as well in Malta. The rivers should be correct, although it doesn't meet the ocean. But look at all the... Oh, did you see all the fiber as well? We have so much here. This is very beautiful. I'm going to build all the way out. That's the Volkswagen. Look, even the stars are correct. Jeez. Yeah. So yeah, that is basically the nicest I've seen in a while for rivers and connecting with ocean. This is really nice. I'm gonna play big tribes here and build everything out. I'm really gonna do that. Seriously, I'm gonna do that. Let's get more big ones because we have quite a few sticks, don't we? It's more for the ropes, because I'm just gonna let them craft wildly to get more. So now you can see we have food processing up there. Can you see on the knowledge list up there? And we have weaving, and we have woodworking. So now several people have learned new skills, and then they are showing up on the top user interface. And that is how the new system works. They are going to do more things, and what they have recently done, like the past week in testing, is that they have increased learning pace by 25%. So yeah, but they have also decreased with the new apprentice system, that the poor skillers, those who have low skill or no skill, they are doing 25% less, and that is really havocing the big tribes. So that needs to be tweaked. Yeah. So yeah, we have several skilling tasks going, and this is what we should do and what we normally do anyway, isn't it? Yeah. So what else? Let me see, what can we talk about that does not belong to Patreon? There's quite a few of the changes that I'm reading through now that belongs to Patreon that we can't really talk about. Let's get down some proper storage for both the straw and the logs. People might think, oh, it doesn't matter, you know, we don't really use it that much or lot, but you are using workforce and you are taking resources from areas. So just get up the storages and then forget about them. You know, that's all you need to do. So the longer they last, the longer you can stay, if you want to, of course. No, most of the time in Mesolithic, I don't bother about being careful with anything. I just go through everything like a locust swarm and then just move on. At least in the early Meso. But you can, in theory, especially in region 2 and the upper part of region 3 for sure, and maybe lower part of region 1, you can stay from 10k BC and not migrate. That really depends on how you play, because you don't have to play like only one way. Well, what can never be skimped upon is not wasting anything. But you know, even on hardcore I waste, because you can't avoid decay. The decay will always be there. Yeah, so there will always be some decay, some waste. Right, let's get those as well. Some dried meat, and also this one, dried fish. There you go. So there's more focus now when animal rage has been calmed down to more, not necessarily manageable levels, but less frustrating levels, you know, so you at least have a chance to build stuff up before you get any visitors that will do any harm. Is that you have changed your methodology a little bit, because you need to focus on gathering things in one pile so that you can easily defend it close to where people are sleeping, and also to put the weapons away from where the animals normally go. And keep in mind also, I'm not sure I've said this before, but all animals will aim for a specific food type that is correlating with their proficiency, almost said, with who they are. A cow will never go for meat. A goat won't go for fish, you know. So a predator will go for everything. The boars will eat you. Wild boars will eat everything. Eatibus, anything else. But herbivores will first of all go for straws and some of your plant fibers, because they can taste yummy. Even your ropes can taste yummy, depending on how dry they are. So defenses are needed, not necessarily with fencing necessarily, but certainly with getting things into one place and separate some of your weapons for defending yourselves away from where all the animals come. You can see now that the red light is back on my computer. I have no idea why it's suddenly showing again, because it didn't in my last playthroughs. It just didn't show, but now it does. So put your weapons close to where your people are sleeping and not close to where the resources are that animals normally go for fairly fast. Because then if it is the bigger animals, then people will be running around in fear instead, although they have really reduced the amount of time they run around with fear. You will still have loss of time and ergo loss of resources, because people are running around scared instead of getting the weapons they are aiming for. So put weapons where the people are sleeping instead as well. It's like more than one place depending on where the animals come in. Also, what is smart to keep in mind is that the rats will go through your gates. They will sneak through your gates. So the fewer gates you have, the less likely you have probability you have to have several packs come for you at the same time. And also remember that attacks are directly correlated to the amount of spots available to steal food you have out in your tribe. So if you have all your food out in the open like we have now, because we have no other choice, you are more likely to get rat packs coming to try to steal some of your food, and wild dogs. Yeah, because wild dogs are so tempted by the smell of meat. But you won't see herbivores because they don't care for the meat. They don't come for the meat. They will come for everything else. Yeah. So the more you have out in the open, the more likely you are to have the appropriate animals coming to take whatever is out in the open. So the quicker we can get our proper lidded storage, the less you will have of these types of attacks. So then we need to focus on concentrating on that. When it is drought, yeah, here we go. When it's very dry, there is grey slack, and when there's basically no humidity, there will be very little food for most herbivores for sure. And then you could have them come try to steal your straw or some of your plant fibers, anything that is a bit wetty or has some moisture that can be eaten. So that belongs more to what is logic. Yeah? But that is actually going to be it for me for this time. Can't keep the video too long. No time, but I will come back in a few days, I hope, if time allows me. But I will continue, because I want to play this all the way until Neolithic, and then we're going to see how it looks when it's a big tribe, you know, with farms and stuff and proper defenses and fences and palisades and blah 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 blah. So yeah, so far it's pretty easy down here. So the real hardcore for me is still up in the far north, but I might be writing a check now that my ass can't cache, because it's fairly early still, and I could run into several problems. I should not be cocky, but just take one day at a time. Anyway, I will continue with this playthrough soon. Thank you to the guy who wanted me to do this. Otherwise, I wouldn't even have thought about it. But this is interesting, really interesting. So until next time, have fun and take care.